Hi everybody, I'm Arianne Bellizaire. I am a Baton Rouge-based interior designer, and I'm here with two design friends. I'm here with Atlanta-based designer Erika Ward with Erika Ward Interiors, and Brooklyn-based design director Malene Barnett with Malene B Carpets. And we're here today to talk about some of our favorite trends. We are in the John Richards showroom, which is one of our favorite stops. So ladies, first tell me what you're so excited about with Market and why you are excited to be here in the mix. Malene. I looked right at you too.
You know what? Listen, I'm always excited to come to Market. You know why? Because one, I get to see what's new and fresh in the design world.
Yes.
And I know John Richards are always ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see how they mix patterns, look at classic style design and shapes, and just do something different, you know, to really inspire the whole design community.
Good. Well, Erika, what are you looking forward to?
I would agree with what she said, but also to add, I believe my clients are looking for me to have my finger on the pulse of design,
Right.
and let them know what's new, what's next, and how to integrate these newer items into what they already have even.
Right, that's good. And one of the things we love about this showroom is it has such a great mix of different product
It
categories. So when you think about your design style, for you, you're an interior designer, you actually produce your own products. So tell me a little bit about your individual styles and then how you see that playing into the way you approach market and how you source items.
I like to think of my style as very timeless and very classic, and what I love to do is merge antiques and things that have sentimental value to families along with some of the newer pieces.
Yeah.
And I like there to be a seamless blend of them both, so there isn't the new doesn't really stand out against
Right.
the old, but it blends like seamlessly.
It's a good juxtaposition, and they kind of
Exactly.
also have a clean transition from piece to piece. Good.
Yeah, and then the place looks updated. It doesn't look like it did 20 years ago, if you
Right.
will, but it does have some of the same pieces
Yes.
that existed 20 years
Yes,
ago.
that's true. That's good. So what about you?
Well, I have a global aesthetic, and John Richards really speaks to that when it comes to design. And I really like pieces that tell stories and that are handmade. And John Richards, they're really keen on handcrafted and having pieces that tell stories on how it was made, where the materials. So I'm really drawn to that. And so when I present to my clients, it's all about how it's created, because then they have more of they're connected to the piece even more.
Right.
And so when you have pieces in your home that you're connected to, you're so excited to share with whoever comes to visit.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And more of a human connection.
Agreed.
So tell me about some of the trends you see. I know Market just started. We just hit the ground running. You may not have seen a whole lot yet, but you both were able to come to the spring market.
Yes.
You're coming to October market, and you can see there's probably going to be a bridge between a lot of what happened in the spring and what's happening in the fall. But what do you see as the emerging trends that are happening this year for 2016?
So one of the emerging trends that I've seen is mixed metals. So I love being able to see a mix of brass and gold and silver, and just kind of how designers are, merging those metals together, and accessories, tables, lighting, those type things.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite metals is iron, because it's like black. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's very neutral.
Yeah.
And it mixes well with anything that you put with it.
Right.
Yes.
That's good. I like it.
Well, the trend that I see is geometric, and I'm calling it geometric glam.
Oh, I like
Because,
that.
Geometrics are classic.
Yes.
Okay, you
Yeah.
see geometric all the time, but I think what I'm seeing more is like a new modern take on it. It's not just about the pattern console, but it's even actually in the base of tables and a fabric, and just being more three-dimensional with your geometrics. I'm seeing a lot of that.
I like that too, that not only we're used to seeing the geometrics in the textiles, which I'm sure that speaks to you, but even in the lighting, we
Yeah.
see it showing up in the lighting. So both of the trends, I think we can see the mixed metals in the lighting, we can see the geometrics in the lighting, and I think that brings a fun, interesting twist to, any room or any space.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Sure.
Talking points.
Yes. Okay, so what is inspiring you right now? Like, what do you feel really just moves you and makes you passionate about whatever your next project is, your next product is? What's your source of inspiration?
Yeah. Well, not to speak for both of us, but I think we have a shared love for travel.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Yeah. And
Well,
so,
the three of us then.
yeah.
Because I definitely feel the same. Yeah.
And so you've done a lot of
Yeah,
travel too this year.
this year,
As well.
yeah.
And so I think just kind of getting outside of your everyday and being exposed to other cultures and history and just geographic locations. It's just so much around us to kind of take in and
Yes.
just kind of bring back to our respective places.
Yes.
And especially with you and your you're designing your carpets and things of that nature. And for me, just kind of understanding whatever culture I just came from, and then maybe recognizing it in the clients,
Yes.
you know, background, and maybe being able to show them how to incorporate that into their home as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
Would you say the same?
Definitely, I agree with you, Erica, as far as the travel. I mean, right now, I'm really looking more like an island style, more of a laid-back type of lifestyle. You know, when we get to a certain age, you know, our priorities change.
What are you talking about, girl?
It's-
Certain age.
Girl.
You better stop.
I am not far from 50, okay?
Are you kidding? Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Is this
I'm
is
not
this off the
far.
record?
This is on the record.
Well, slow clap for you on that one.
But what happens is, you know, and again, you know, especially with your clients, I don't know the age group, but you know, if you're really trying to invest in pieces for your home, you know, you want things that really speak to you, and you start to think about like, what type of life do you want? What's the next chapter going to look like? And I do believe that we have, when we do decorate our homes or our space in any way, you know, it's our lifestyle changes. Like every decade, our priorities change. And so, you know, with my travels these days, it's been a lot to the islands, and I'm really seeing how simple people live and how to incorporate that as far as even design, even the actual products in the space.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really what's inspiring me these days. Like, how do I incorporate that and give a little piece of that whole island style living just around the world?
Right.
Because I think all of us, in a sense, want a sense of it, because it's about, when you go home, you want to be in a space that's just your sanctuary.
That's right.
I want
That's
some
right.
simplicity in the
Yes,
city.
yes. Livable simplicity.
Yes.
You know, but yeah, I agree with that. And I think that the other thing about travel is it does broaden your perspective. It does give you a different idea of how people live and how to translate it here. But I also think, you know, your point of wanting to tell a story, you can see the historical references and the things that are new and fresh and
That's right.
trending.
That's right.
You know, a lot of clients are really nervous about latching onto a trend because they are afraid that when that trend goes away, then they'll be stuck with either wanting to buy something new or, you know, not liking it because everybody's moved on. But if you can help them identify what's timeless to them and give them that
personal
historical
connection.
perspective and say, okay, you like geometric, so let me show you. I went to Spain, and this is what they have on the on the floor, hard finish. It's going to be here.
And it's
That
been
gives
there
them that comfort
200
in that
years.
story.
For sure. But
they want.
I also believe too that I think as our life evolves, our space evolves, and that I also think we should, you know, invite our clients to not be so attached to pieces all the time too. I think there's some point of when you have to, in life, you have to learn to let go, and there's a time for that piece to be in your life, and it served its purpose. So now it's time to start a new chapter, and I think that's the beauty of having markets, because the products are always evolving.
Right. That's
So
true.
you want to be able to keep bringing newness to your space, because as we continue to bring newness to our space, it makes life so much more interesting.
That's true. That's true. So for you, Erika, because you're an interior designer, when you're starting to design a space, is there a specific piece that is always your go-to starting point? So for example, in a living room, what's your first piece that you're thinking of? Or is your bedroom, in your bedroom, what's your first piece? Or is it really just thinking about the client and what they need and then using that to determine what's going to be your compass as you design that space?
I
It better
design-
be a rug. So
And it better be a rug, right?
Yeah.
Malene, be a rug.
No, no, but it's actually rugs and textiles. You know, 'cause I think about functionality first, but there are so many things in the marketplace that cater to families, because I design a lot for families. And so I love textiles and being able to mix in different styles, if you will, colors and textures. And so textiles usually is the
starting
go-to.
point.
It's the starting point. And then if not textiles, then rugs, like Malene mentioned just a moment ago, in a non-threatening way.
Right. So to bridge the gap as you're designing and developing your rugs, what is your source of inspiration as you start on that new product? Is it a color or a
You know,
photo?
it's a combination. I always think about what kind of mood do I want to create for this
Oh,
space.
that's a good one.
That's really where the starting point. You know, do I want something that's bold and really graphic? You know, when people walk in, they're like, wow. Or is it more like a subtle, like it just blends in the room type of pattern? So I always think about the mood first.
Okay. Do either of you have a favorite designer from the past, you know, that you admire, or is there someone current that you're like, I just really love her aesthetic or his aesthetic, or, you know, maybe their business sense, their brand, their style? Is there anyone on your radar from the past, present, or future up and coming designer?
Well, my all-time favorite is she's an artist, designer, educator, is Lois Mailou Jones.
Okay.
So, you know, I've she actually inspired me to do what I'm doing today.
Wow.
Because I read about her. She's an African-American artist back in the Harlem Renaissance days. And that's when I learned that the actual position of being a textile designer. You know, she explored that back then. She was a painter, and I started out as a painter. And then she, you know, ended her life as an educator. But she did all these things where she was drawing and creating product. And I was fascinated because I never knew anything about that. And I discovered her in my first year of college. And from her discovering her work, I started to really think about how will I make an impact with my work in this industry. So she's my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, and for me, I grew up with my inspiration. It was my grandfather. So he was an architect, licensed in 2 states. And so being able to be there with someone who is doing very well in his field and being able to educate me on the history of architecture.
Right.
And, you know, anytime we traveled, that was always a topic of discussion. And so I had a great appreciation for that. I so wish he would have been able to still be living to kind of see how I've, you know, turned this into a life, a career for myself. But he is my top inspiration, if you will.
That's great. That's wonderful. All right. And so finally, we talked about travel being a source of inspiration. Is there a specific place that you love to travel?
I think we're together. Are you going to say Caribbean?
Well, you know.
Well, you're a little biased.
You know, I'm a little biased. My family's from there. I don't have a specific island because I believe they all have something a little different.
Yes.
I really love, but I also love traveling to Asia. I love traveling to India, Pacific, and Thailand because I can eat very well.
Yes. Yes.
But the culture is so inspiring there. I mean, it's just endless opportunities to create. So, but travel just in general.
Yeah.
You know, if you have good food, good landscape, good people, and music, Malene B is there.
Malene's B is there. I love it. So I know we've had this conversation too about you loving the Caribbean and kind of having that as a source of
We
inspiration.
took the kids for the first time this past summer, and when I set my feet on the ground, I felt like I was home. And there's something about that. I didn't want to leave. And it goes beyond the landscape and the water. Like she said, it's the people, it's the food, it's the environment, it's the culture. I just felt home.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see about getting back there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much for spending some time. I know you have a lot that you want to see, but I've had a lot of fun with y'all this
Thanks for
morning. So
having us.
thank you. And thank you to John Richard for letting us have a place to chat.